Hey, it's Birdman here for the Arizona White Mountain Podcast, hanging out in the studio in COVID-19 status. So we're going to be doing things a little bit differently today. I've got some people that will be coming in via video. We're going to talk to them up first here, so we'll do that, and then we've got some people who are coming on audio. So we're hanging out a little bit different because of COVID-19, of course, like I explained. I've got with me Chris Paxman, and Trever. What's your last name again?
Miller.
Trever Miller. Now, where do you go to school, Trever?
Blue Ridge.
Blue Ridge, okay. And what grade are you in?
I'm in 8th.
8th grade, okay. So how's your COVID-19 experience been so far?
Good.
A little different?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a little different for us too. So you driving your parents crazy yet?
Yeah.
Chris, tell us what's going on here. What are we talking about right now?
So the Arizona Game and Fish have water catchment tanks all over the state of Arizona. In order to monitor those, they're having to physically go out and check them. So the Blue Ridge Junior High 4-H Physics and Engineering Club collaborated with Arizona Game and Fish to create these sensors that will send the information about the water levels remotely, so that people don't have to drive out to check them.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. Well, that would be a huge time saving, I guess so, yes?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, not only time saving, but I mean, at times they were renting helicopters and Jeeps and things to get all over over the state. Yeah.
So tell me then, this is a contest. Give me the layout of what the contest is and what we can do as those sitting at home right now that have nothing else to do to help.
Right. So the club were out of the top 20 finalists for the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow contest. They've already won $50,000 in prizes up to this point.
Wow.
At this point in the contest, it's now voting on the project from the public over social media, and the team with the most votes on that end is going to win an additional $10,000. So that's what we're asking for help for.
Wow, and you also get the bragging rights too, right?
Absolutely.
Now, is this nationwide or is it international?
It's nationwide.
Okay, which is certainly a pretty stout kind of thing. You're against all the schools that submitted for this in the entire nation.
It was over. I think there were over 3,000 applicants, and we're down to the top 20.
Crazy. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about what people do. They just go online and it's a straight vote. And how many times can they vote? Can they vote each day? Is it one vote and you're done? What is it?
It's one vote each day.
One vote each day. Okay.
Yeah. One vote each day. You get an additional vote if you share it to your Facebook page or share it to your Twitter page as well.
Okay.
So it could be up to three votes in a day.
So 3 votes each day. So that means everybody just set up your little reminder. We got our little charts as what we're supposed to do every hour so we don't go stir crazy. So one of those should be go vote 3 times.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yep.
And it costs how much for people to vote?
10 seconds of your time.
Boom. Easy. Cool. So 6 months you've been out there doing these things, and what is the Arizona Game and Fish? How have they liked it?
They've liked it a lot. It's been saving them a lot of time.
Yeah, I gotta believe that.
As part of the video, they interviewed an officer with Arizona Game and Fish, and he talked about how it's saving days and days of his month from not having to drive out to these tanks.
Pretty cool that a group of high school kids came up with a solution, implemented it, and now they're saving money.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
There's a government lesson there somewhere. I don't know. Cool. Awesome. Hey, thank you guys for your time today. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to tell everybody else out there?
So I love it if we could post that link and just get everybody to vote every day. We'd really appreciate it.
Okay, so we'll put the link down below, folks. Just click on it, and there's 2 other ways. If you got a Twitter and a Facebook, it's easy to throw it up there. It doesn't matter if anybody follows your Twitter or not. It really doesn't. It still counts as a vote. So don't worry about your followership or anything like that. Awesome. Hey, thanks, Chris. Thanks, Trevor. You guys have a great day. I've got with me now Allison Hefner. How are you?
Good, good.
So, and she's here, of course, with CPMS. How are you?
Well, actually, I'm not.
Okay, you're not this time. That's
No.
what she always does, though. She doesn't know that.
Okay. So I'm here with the Community Feeding Collaborative, and we're trying to get information out to our southern areas in Navajo County on accessing food, what agencies and organizations are out there providing food. And so on the Community Shout, we wanted to bring Kayley Willis on, who is part of the 3E snack program.
Okay, so we're going to put on headphones, and Kayley, are you there?
I am. Thank you.
Good. Okay. So I want to make sure you're hearing us. Okay. So Allie, tell
Yes.
us what's going on.
So Kayley, we wanted to talk a little bit about your program and what you do, how long you've been doing it, what you do, and where you provide those services to start.
All right. Thank you so much for having us on. And I just wanted to give you guys a shout out. So much appreciate you guys putting your talents together. Everybody has a part, and thank you for playing yours and getting the message out to everyone. Our organization is 3E Snacks. It's named after, I have 3 children, and their names start with the letter E. We started this, excuse me, 3.5 years ago, where we found that there was a need in the community. Kids were coming to school on Monday that didn't get very much to eat over the weekend. And so we started this. Bags go out to kids before the weekend so that they have something to sustain them when the school lunch and breakfast is not available. We started out with one school with about 5 kids, and now we serve 10 schools and about 270 bags every weekend. Wow. We go with Snowflake Unified School District, Northern Arizona Academy, George Washington Academy, Sequoia, and all the schools in Heber Overguard. And the teachers and the principals decide who gets the food. We figure that they know way better than any of us as to who is in need. The bags go discreetly home with them. They come to the office, get their backpack, put their food in it, and they're off. And so that's how we've been running the program for the last few years. During the summer is a little bit different because, as you're well aware, in a lot of areas, students don't have the access to come back into town to pick up food, to pick up those things. And so our summer program has been lacking. As of all of this COVID-19, we are changing things up. The food is now going home via buses in some of the districts, and in the Snowflake Unified School District, they're working on that. Or the kids are able to pick it up with their free lunch that they can pick up, Monday through Friday.
And that's going out to, I know that we had talked earlier and you said Heber was doing a really good job with their feeding program, right? Is that because they're using buses too?
Yes. And a lot of places they're using buses, still running a bus route. I don't think every day, but some of the days, and the kids can actually just go to their bus stop. And that's catching on. I think other school districts, Show Low, Blue Ridge, all of them have that. So that's going to be the way to make all of that happen.
And then, so when that does happen, when you're partnering, are you partnering with the schools in being able to access food? Or are they using your food to get to these kids? Or how is that food stuff working?
So all of what we do is we have a place at our home, outside of our home, that is designated for, it's pretty much a food bank. And people in the community donate food or money. And so we have a full operation there where we deliver, I wouldn't say our own food, but yes, our own food to the schools. Now, the schools, of course, have their breakfast and lunch that they're serving. This food is just going to be in addition to that food. And these kids are able to pick up those bags Monday through Friday during this time, whatever day. Some kids aren't going to be able to make it in every day, but it's going to be available every day.
That's awesome, especially being able to take it out there, because I know specifically an area I'm thinking about is out east of Snowflake. You have a lot of kids that are way out there that need that service, and taking to their bus stop is a lot more realistic of them getting connected to that food than asking them to continue to come in every day when it's a 45-minute trip for some of them.
Exactly. And I've been talking with the school district to figure out that. So I'm hoping in the next few days we have that figured out, because they can also send, the schoolwork also that way. So. Oh,
that's smart. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Now, what do you need right now? And I mean, especially, it sounds like you're eventually going to be pretty depleted in what you've been able to get so far. So what do you need from the community? We do have some drop-off locations where we are, with this collaborative, trying to identify a couple locations so we can manage the food and get it out to people. One is like Morning Rose in Show Low, and the other one is the Recenter in Lakeside, to where they will drive the food. And I talked to Dawn yesterday, and she said she was going to bring you out some food that people had donated to help you out. But what do you need from people to donate to those areas, or even drop off? You would be a location, correct?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
And the schools that, like in our area, Highland Primary, which is the elementary school in Snowflake, and Taylor Elementary, both are drop-off places. So you can go by their office and just drop things off, or our location, and people just contact us through social media to get addresses for that. But in the past, we've always been able to order in bulk. Walmart's been a great resource for us and has helped us a lot. Well, that's not an option anymore. As most people know, we cannot order anything in bulk. And even if we had all of the funds we needed, there's not a store we could go to get everything we needed. And so right now we're definitely relying on the community. I have enough supplies to get us through the next 2 weeks. And kind of what we're asking the community right now is, if you have something on your shelf you're willing to donate, if you're at the store and you can buy an extra box of granola bars, I think that's the only way it's going to happen, because we can't have anybody going into the store and cleaning off the shelf. That's not what we want.
Yeah, you got to get people to buy what they need. Don't start hoarding right now. We're going to work through this. There's enough supplies for everybody, but if everybody eats up all the resources, then other people are going to suffer.
And it's sadly our vulnerable populations like who you serve.
Exactly. And I think that it's just a whole different mind frame for everybody to wrap their minds around, because, the trucks are still running, but they can't get caught up if everybody goes and gets more than what they need right now. Yes, get what you need. And if you're able to add, a box of top of ramen on there for 3 snacks. And I think that if everybody gets in that mindset that, you know what, one thing is a big deal. One can of soup just fed a kid dinner.
Yeah.
And to not get caught up on I can only donate this much.
Right.
You know what? Every little bit helps. And with our awesome community, all of those people that are working together make it happen, just like they've made it happen in our program for 3 years. Mm-hmm. I have total faith relying on the community to make it happen. It's just we need to adjust the way we're going to make it happen.
Well, it's incredible because in 3 years, how far you've expanded this program and how valuable this program is to these kids. And when they're thinking about donating it, you brought up the top ramen, granola bars. It needs to be something that a child can either make or open.
Yes, and we kind of are getting away a little bit with adding some stuff that's going to be a little bit more substantial. Like we're doing spaghetti and spaghetti noodles.
Okay.
We'll do peanut butter and jelly. Of course, that's not a usual staple that we carry because it's so much more expensive, but that's something that can sustain a lot longer than a box of mac and cheese, but anything that we can get in the smaller portions. A number 10 can of beans is not really realistic for our program. Mm-hmm. Yes, if somebody donates that to us, we will get it out to the Love Kitchen, the Senior Center, something that needs that. And that's what we've done all along. We have our Senior Center here in Snowflake, and anything that doesn't, go with our program, we just pass on to them. And I think that's the big key.
Yeah, it's going to get to somebody who needs it.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Hey, thank you, Kayley. We really appreciate your time today. Going to let you get back at what you're doing. Very important. And thank you for and anybody can help support. We'll throw contact information down for you.
And your website. You said you're running on Facebook, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
All right. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Kayley.
So, kind of important that we have things like that and that are helping people. There's some other things that are going on as well. And we're going to be doing an update that people can have access to hear what's going on. We want to make sure people are interacting on the Facebook page and knowing what's going on. Anything else you want to talk about?
I do have Brittney Crosby that I wanted to call in.
Okay, you want to try to call her real quick?
Well, thank you for letting me come on for a second. I regularly teach classes to parents, grandparents, caregivers, anybody with kids from birth to 5, and we learn about early brain development and what we can do at home to really encourage healthy brain development and really create the foundations early on in life so kids are ready to enter school prepared to learn and really just have a good foundation for, you know, all emotional, mental well-being kind of throughout life. So we talk about attention skills, bonding skills, and communication skills. And then in the class, I give parents information about what's happening in the brain at different ages and stages of life, and then ideas of what they can do at home to support that.
So this makes me think, especially during this crisis that we're going through that's new to all of us and is very unknown, that some of the information you could give us could help to reduce the stress in the children as well as the parents, because it does create that bonding time.
For sure. So children are so aware of what's going on around us, more so than we give them credit for, and really can sense from parents what the underlying, tension and stress may be. And when you can help kids really focus in on something they can do, that they can control, it helps them really have a sense of, brings down their stress level in their environment. And open communication, just really speaking in an appropriate way that is age appropriate with the kids.
So what would you recommend some of these things be for parents?
So really, if you can create, first of all, an environment that is calm, and you can have anything that you can do right now that is a predictable schedule for your child. So if you talk through certain activities you're going to do during the day, at what times, a nighttime schedule or routine, some of these things you may have already been doing or had throughout your day, but if you can really create that for them, it gives them predictability, security, and safety right now that they are going to really be craving. So creating an environment that has any sort of normalcy will really help. And then communicating and letting them talk to you. So not so much just talking to them, but asking open-ended questions. Sometimes we forget to ask that. So help them describe how they are feeling, help them give them tools. So lots of times therapies are done, or trauma releases are done with little kids by pictures. So sometimes, especially the little ones, they can't put into words what they're feeling, but they could color it or draw it. For the older kids, it's great if they have a journal or something they can write about. Anytime that kids are able to put a visual to an emotion, it helps them in communication.
You bring up a good point. In fact, one of the homework that my daughter brought home, she's 11, the language arts part of it was writing a journal through this pandemic of how she feels every day, just 2 paragraphs a day, and they're having her find pictures or things and
that's great.
and provide that with the journal. So I thought that was kind of neat, because I do remember when I was younger, we would take magazines and we cut out pictures of what we wanted to do or how we wanted to feel, and we got to post them or paste them to paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of a collage sort of thing. Yeah. So really, being able to help kids make meaning of what's happening right now helps in processing, emotionally, mentally. It helps in the cycle of understanding something and then processing that. So Dr. Jill Stam, who is part of Arizona Children's Association, a lot of our classes information are founded on her research. One thing that I was having a conversation with her recently, and one thing that she said to me that she had just found out from a conference she was at is pertaining to social media or all these different outlets our kids have right now with information. If we can help them make meaning with what is happening around them, it actually changes the wiring that happens in the brain. So what that looks like is asking them those open-ended questions, helping them to really be able to describe or put into words what they are experiencing. You can do that in terms of asking them to visually describe something, help them to put into words the senses that they have around a certain emotion or a certain situation. So how does it look? How does it feel? What did you see right then? Any descriptive language they can put into making meaning will help them process this time.
I totally. I think that's valuable information. I know that when my daughter, she wasn't under 5 at this time; she was 7. But just asking her what she thought, I would get. It actually became fun for me, because it's just amazing what kids think. about things, and that sparked a conversation with me and her that grew so well, and I was like, well, why do you think that? Really? That's incredible. Okay. It was just
Right.
it was actually less stressful for me to be able to ask like that too. So
Yes. And research shows us that, so we have, two hemispheres of the brain. The left side is very factual. It's very logical, rational thinking. The right side is our communication, our emotions, our how we express creativity. And so sometimes what happens is we can have an experience that is in our left side of our brain. We're looking at something very factual. If we have a trauma or we have a situation that we feel is out of our control, like a pandemic, sometimes, especially with little kids, they're looking at something or understanding something factual. But if we can help them with the right side of the brain, with the emotion side, with the descriptive side, the creativity side, and connect the two parts, lots of data, lots of research is showing that it actually helps through the processing part of an event. So when we help those two sides of the brain communicate together, the processing is more of a healthy experience for kids.
that makes a lot of sense, especially with like MDR information out there right now. So,
Right.
Brittney, do you have, if you have any links that you'd like us to send parents to, I'm sure that Birdman would be happy to put those on.
Great.
And we'll get those from you.
You betcha.
Yes,
Just
that
send
sounds
those
great.
over and we'll show them here down below. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a good day, Britt.
Thank you very
You too.
much.
Bye-bye.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. So anything else that you wanted to chat about or tell everybody about?
No, I think that was great information she gave, especially for childcare. Like, people are dropping off their kids right now. You want to fully function in your mind to try to absorb this. And children, sometimes you go out there and you're like, oh, they're resilient. They're resilient.
Yep.
Kids aren't as resilient as we think if we're not involved in their lives.
Yeah, very good. Awesome.
That's
Hey, we're going to be doing some audio updates as well. Make sure you're following those on the Birdman Media Networks, mostly on Facebook, but we're going to be spreading them out to the other platforms as well. So if you have any questions, shoot them over to me, and we'll try to get you answers as we can. Got a summit update coming here in the middle of the week as well, so watch for that. Thank you very much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Very cool. Hey, that's going to be it for this week's Community Shout, brought to you by the town of Pinetop Lakeside here on the Arizona White Mountains podcast. I always say one thing, but I'm going to say it a little different. You're not going to see me around town, so find me here on the web until we get rid of COVID-19.